Hi everyone, it's Rory at Claudin Painting Studio and I've been shopping. I have bought some of the new Army Painter Fanatic range of washes and I'm going to do a comparison today between these new washes and the old ones to see if there's any differences in terms of result when they go on the models. And I'll also take a look at some of the new additions to the line, which are Rust Tone and Sepia Tone. I've got some new wash medium as well, and I'll have a look to see how this works in thinning out these washes. Currently I often use Quickshade Mixing Medium on the old line of washes, just to lessen the harshness of the staining on flat surfaces. So I want to see if this new wash medium is comparable. I've got some French Napoleonic line voltigeurs in great coats, and I'm going to apply some of these washes to a whole battalion's worth of line infantry and then look at the results. So let's have a look at using the strong tone and the results it gives. Okay, so this is the new strong tone. The bottles come preloaded with mixing balls, so that's really handy. Helps to distribute the pigments into the medium. In the past I have added mixing balls to my washes to make sure that everything mixes together well, but that's a real time saver. Let's see how it comes out the bottle. So yeah, a couple of drops there and one drop to mix with the wash medium. So just a 1-to-1 mix there for the models. And the old strong tone. I would say, looking at the colours there, that the old strong tone looks a bit darker. One caveat, I suppose, is that my old bottles have been in use for a while, so there may have been changes in comparison to a brand new product. Some less of the pigment might have been in the initial drops that I've used, and this is sort of the dark dregs there. So this is the new strong tone. I've got a big ugly old acrylic brush to apply this with. Comes out of the bottle pretty nicely. Might need to put a wee bit more in my dish just to finish the coat on this guy. Okay, so I finished the layer there. It's pretty effective at finding the recesses. There's not too much pulling going on the flat surfaces. I'll have a look at how it compares to the old wash going on. Alright, brought them back together. I could perhaps say that the older wash does pull a bit more, but really need to wait to see what it's like when it's dried to really assess the final effect. So this is the equal parts wash medium to strong tone. Wash medium, again like the old Quickshade medium, does sort of make the mixture look cloudy, but as the medium dries clear, there's not going to be this sort of light brown effect. The cloudiness disappears as it dries. I've always tended to dilute my washes. I just think it helps keep the flat surfaces more consistent with the base colour, while still shading the recesses. I think it means that you get a much better result if your intention is just to wash and go straight to tabletop without doing any highlighting. I'll do the same with the old wash. I'll bring the new wash and medium mix back in. So again, I'd say there's an improvement. There's a bit less pooling on the flat surfaces. I think the older wash definitely has a darker tinge to it. How much of that again is down to it being an older bottle than a brand new bottle is hard to say. Right, wait for this to dry and then we'll have a look. And I will also show you what the other washes look like. I'm going to show you stills of the models with the dry wash layers on them now. Strong tone is usually a good one as an all-rounder. It works well with dark colours, metallics, also flesh colours, browns, so it can be applied to most models in most situations. I think here that the new strong tone, and especially when the wash medium is added to it, pools a lot less than the old version. I think it does a good job at defining metallics and skin features. I think that it does muddy the colours that are underneath. So the jacket was painted grey, it's quite a brown grey. Some people like this dirty effect. It makes the models look like they're in the middle of battle and are covered in grime and all sorts. Here's a still of the Grenadier company that I've used dark tone on. I think there's quite a clear difference between the level of pooling between the new and the old version. The new version of dark tone pools a lot less, which I think is really useful. It seems to want to cling to the recesses much more than it does the flat surfaces, so it's a less mottled effect. I really like that. I think that with the added wash medium 1-to-1 ratio is kind of perfect really for models in grey, and I would recommend this one going forward. Soft tone perhaps isn't the best wash for a model with dark colours. It's much more suited to models that are wearing lighter clothes in general. It doesn't shade the metallics or the wood particularly well. On the white of the model, like the straps and trousers, I think it does a nice job of making them look a warm white. And the new soft tone definitely leaves a much less mottled appearance than the old one. It's very good for light skin tones, so it works quite well on the model here. I think soft tone, if you were working on perhaps Austrians who are wearing all white, would be a good choice to go for. Light tone and soft tone are fairly similar. Light tone is more yellow, whereas soft tone is more brown. One thing I think is really quite interesting here is that the new version of light tone shades a lot deeper than the older version. I have been using light tone quite a lot as a shade for models in white uniforms. Before I do any detailing, I give the whole model a coat to bring out the recesses on white trousers, jackets, straps, and then I don't really need to do much to them after that. I don't think light tone's necessarily going to work for me straight out the bottle now, but perhaps diluted I'll be able to get a similar effect. It's not very good again for your metallics, your dark woods, certainly not giving any shading to the dark greys of the boots like dark tone would. One colour that's been dropped from the range of washes is mid-brown. It's sort of a reddish brown colour, not particularly suited to models in Napoleonic uniforms, but decent for animals. I've got Rust Tone, which is a new one from the range, which is more of a dark reddy brown. I don't think it's a great one for these infantry models in their grey coats. It makes everything a bit too reddish. I'd be interested to actually try this on some rust and some vehicles, because I think it could work really well in those circumstances. Another new one in the range is the Sepia tone. This wash, although it has sort of the yellow and brownish tones of soft tone and light tone, it has a much greater effect on flat surfaces as well. It really ties the colours of the model together quite significantly. I mean, it is like looking at a sepia toned photo. I think that could be useful for people who are into sort of more grim dark modelling, perhaps if they're playing some 40k with a sort of bland Chitsu theme, or something like Turnip 28, some of the other sort of weird and wonderful games out there. So a useful one to add to the collection. So here's all the washes arrayed for you to look at together. I think the Rust Tone, Sepia Tone really have a more overall effect on the model to tie colours together. The Strong Tone makes things look a bit muddy and in the middle of the battle. The Soft Tone is really quite subtle in comparison even to the Light Tone, and the Dark Tone works well with the grey of the coat. In this image you can see what all the washes look like when they've been diluted with the wash medium in a 1:1 ratio. It softens the overall effects of the washes. It confines the shading much more to the recesses, and I think that for the Strong Tone makes it a bit more palatable if you don't like the muddiness on a model. The Rust Tone and the Sepia Tone, they sort of lose the effect of bringing the colours together though. So decision time. If I was wanting a one coat solution for these French Napoleonic line infantry and greatcoats, I think I'd probably lean towards the dark tone, equal parts with the wash medium. I think that the slightly diluted dark tone leaves the grey of the greatcoat very close to its original colour while adding shading. And the white of the trousers looks a bit dirty, but I think that's okay for a campaign look. And there's good definition on the recesses and the epaulets, and it works well with the metallics and wood of the musket. I think if I was planning to go back to the model with some highlighting, I might actually steer towards the Strong Tone with wash medium. Couple of reasons for that. I think it's a nicer tone to shade skin with, and if I was going back to do highlighting, it would be so the model can be appreciated a bit closer than the 3-foot rule, and I think faces get appreciated a lot more when you're up close, so having a brownish shade on the skin looks better than the blackish shade on the dark tone. It's warmer and it enhances the base colour. I think if you're not wanting to bother with having wash medium at all, and you're quite happy with models at an arm length, then it's dark tone out the bottle. Works for me. I think across the tabletop you've got good black lining around the straps, and it differentiates between the materials on the model really well. Strong tone, I think, leaves everything just a bit grimier. It certainly brings all the colours closer together, and I know that for some people that almost muddy, battle-worn look is what they are after. That's neat, strong tone on the end here. So, thanks for watching. If you've got any comments about the washes, please leave them below. There are, of course, many more wash colours available in the Army Painter range. Everything from blues and greens, yellows, magentas, reds. I think they've got a couple of different flesh washes now. But none of them are really appropriate for covering Napoleonic models with head to toe. If you're wanting to work on individual colours on the model, take your time and not do a one-stop shop, then investing in a range of washes to sort of better shade the different colours on the model could be done. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.